This is Dog River at 6,500 feet on the eastern foothills of Mount Hood. The city of the Dalles has had a water right from the stream dating back to 1870, when crews hand-dug a ditch to divert its water into the East Fork of Mill Creek. In 1913, workers installed a 3.5-mile wooden pipeline bound with wire and covered with pitch. Water that makes it to Mill Creek is impounded behind the Crow Creek Dam and provides more than half of the city's annual water supply. Here at the diversion point, there is a short concrete partial dam that can be seen behind U.S. Forest Service District Ranger Cameron Sam and the Dalles Public Works Director Dave Anderson, and in this shot. This is the actual diversion, where the water dives underground into the wooden pipe. The outflow forms a small creek that eventually flows into the East Fork of the Hood River. This is what the wooden pipe looks like. Here, a metal patch was added to stop the many leaks that during heavy runoff cost the city up to 1 million gallons a day. That is about to stop. Finally, after decades of preparation, the city has obtained the funding and the permits from multiple government agencies to replace the pipeline with modern materials. On Monday, July 18, 2022, the city held a groundbreaking ceremony. Here's that video.
I want to provide just a little bit of an overview, a background, what the project is, why the project's needed. Right behind us is the intake to the Dog River Pipeline. The Dog River Pipeline was constructed in about 1913, so it's almost 110 years old. It's made out of wood. It's 3.5 miles long, and it is served its useful life, and it's time to replace it. The city has water rights on Dog River that date back to 1870, and the water that the city receives from Dog River currently supplies a little over half of the city's annual water supply. So this is a really important water source and piece of infrastructure for the city. The project and the pipeline is located on Forest Service property. So the lands are administered by the Forest Service. That means there's all the appropriate analyses and permitting and authorizations necessary to make this project go forward. The mayor mentioned his records go back to 2010. I've actually personally been involved in this project dating back to 1995 or so. Laying the groundwork and some of the long-range planning the Forest Service was doing at that time to be sure that the replacement of this pipeline was anticipated in those planning efforts. The water that we draw out of Dog River, the pipeline carries it 3.5 miles over and discharges it above the headwaters of South Fork Mill Creek. The water then flows open channel down South Fork Mill Creek, where the city can impound it in the dam that it operates on at the confluence of Crow Creek and South Fork Mill Creek, called Crow Creek Dam. After that water is stored there, we can release it back into South Fork Mill Creek, carry it on downstream, and is treated at the wastewater treatment plant for the city. So, this is our highest elevation water supply. It's very dependent on snowpack, and the watershed that feeds this intake extends up to about 6,200 feet off an outlet lookout mountain. The new pipe is going to not be wooden. It's going to be made out of high-density polyethylene, HDPE plastic pipe. It is intended to have a design life of 100 years. We're not going to be back here doing this again for quite a while. As the mayor mentioned, it's going to take 2 construction seasons to build it. We're weathered out here in the winter, too much snow to work up here in the winter. So we're expecting the completion at the end of 2023. Funding, this project is now on the order of a $13.5 million project. We have been successful in bringing in significant outside funding to help support this project. The city got a $1 million grant from the Oregon Water Resources Department. We got just over $8 million in a combination of low interest loans and forgivable loans, which are essentially grants from the Infrastructure Finance Fund. The rest of the balance of the costs of the project are being supported by the city's water utility partners. A lot of permits, a lot of authorizations, a lot of approvals are needed. Federal level, we've gotten the involvement, had to get approvals or reviews from the U.S. Forest Service, from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the National Marine Fisheries Service. From the state, we've had permits and authorizations from the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality, the Oregon Division of State Lands, Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, and even the State Historical Preservation Office. From those different entities, we currently have somewhere over a dozen permits and authorizations related to this project. So that has been part of the lead time and work that's brought us to this point today. We've got a lot of partners that have been involved in this project. And without those partners, each one of them is important to the success of the project. And without their work and support, we wouldn't be here today. I want to mention, of course, the City Council's support over the years. This has been the highest, highest priority project for the City Council for quite a while. We've also enjoyed a lot of support for the project from the Wasco County Economic Development Commission, and that has, those supports, Port of the Dalles and other partners helped us be successful in getting the funding, the outside funding that we've been able to achieve. I want to go ahead and I'm just going to kind of mention some of the other entities for the project team itself, and I'll kind of go through in the order in which we engage their services, I guess. We've already mentioned we've been working with the Forest Service a long time to get us to this point. We selected Jacobs Engineering Group to be the design engineer for the project, so for all the engineering services. We've contracted with Hawaii Forestry Services, or Timber Services now, to serve as the city's timber management consultant and help us put together the contract that provided for the removal of the timber along the pipeline corridor. We contracted with Bounds Excavation, Eric over here, to do the timber removal work. We have contracted with K&E Excavating to do the actual pipeline construction work. We have engaged the services of McKed, I know she's there somewhere, Becky's over there, Mid-Club Economic Development District, to assist the city with the administering the funding, making sure we meet all the requirements associated with the funding that we've received, certified payroll and prevailing wage and things like that. We have entered into a lease with the Port of the Dalles to be able to utilize a parcel of property they had to store the pipe. The city pre-purchased pipe for this first construction season so that there would be no delay once we got the construction contractor on board for them to have to be hired, then order the pipe and then wait for it to show up. We have the pipe sitting there in the yard ready for them to begin installation as soon as they're ready to go. And then we've been partnering and working closely with Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife to develop the couple of the other elements of the project I'm going to talk about here in just a second. There are environmental benefits of the project. Obviously there's a benefit to the city to increase the reliability, the resiliency, the robustness of its water supply. But we're also achieving a number of environmental benefits with this project. The first, of course, is more efficient in use of water by getting rid of the leakage that we're currently experiencing. It's estimated that we might be losing as much as 1 million gallons of water a day in the spring when the wooden pipeline is running full. So better water management, more efficient use of water. Second one is there's currently no fish passage or fish screening systems on this intake. And the existing intake serves as a barrier to fish passage. As you can see, that's a pretty big jump if something wants to go upstream. There are cutthroat trout in Dog River, so we're going to be installing fish passage and fish screening systems in conjunction with Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife's review and approval of those systems. Those are going to be a very significant portion of this project. And I just would like to note that the city is voluntarily installing those systems because our project otherwise would not have tripped any of the triggers to put in those systems. On the other side of the road, there's on the other side of the paved road out here where we park, there's another natural surface of dirt road that goes away, that extends off to the other direction there, and it crosses a creek where an old Forest Service culvert has failed. We're going to be installing a new concrete fish passage capable culvert on that road and get rid of that place where vehicles are currently driving through the creek and muddying up the water. I wanted to offer Cameron Sam is here today as the district ranger for the Barlow Ranger District, U.S. Forest Service. I wanted to give him a chance to provide any comments if he wants to. I'm just putting him on the hook because I didn't even
He sent an email this morning.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, anything you want to offer?
Well, it's been a long time coming. You're going to cry, I'm going to cry.
No.
So thanks, Dave. I'm super grateful for everyone standing here, everyone involved. Dave, so patient to try to get something, together, us getting this thing together. The approvals and authorizations he talked about, they're very, very complicated. As you can see, we're in a place where there's so many natural resources, so sensitive, that in order to balance this, you have to have the right analysis, you have to have the right public outreach, you have to understand the social side of things, and go through all those processes. And then the agencies, like you talked about. And then, our own Forest Service capacity. We've had a number of ups and downs when it comes to our priorities with natural, fires, wildfires, things like that. This has always been a number one on my list to get this done, and I'm so grateful that we're able to get here. Big excavator sitting right here. Yes. Ready to go, guys. I'm so happy. So thank you. That's what I wanted to offer. Thank you, guys.
When we were in the field a couple of weeks together, I thought Cameron was going to be the one to put the first saw in the tree. He was getting as excited as I was.
Yeah, good thing no saw was there, because I would have put a cut in there for sure.
Yeah. Andrew, you want to offer any comments? And I lost you.
I'm over here.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
In either of your roles. Andrea's actually got two roles related to the project, and I'll let her share what those are.
Yeah, thank you. So first I want to say, Dave, we're glad you decided not to retire until this project got at least kicked off or it's complete. So I'm not sure what your retirement date is, but as Dave said, he's been working on this for quite some time. So I'm the executive director of the Port of the Dalles, and I'm also the current chair of the Infrastructure Finance Authority, and so those are my dual roles right now. The port's very happy that we're able to work with the city to get the pipe stored on our property so that it could be pre-purchased, so it's ready to go. That's really important, as everybody knows, in this time of sort of uncertainty as you're trying to get material. Oftentimes, projects can be just really delayed if you can't get that raw material off the ground, so we're really happy with that. In my role with Infrastructure Finance Authority, I was talking with Matthew Cleaves, and he was laughing at my rural hat. I will say that I'm a huge support of rural, and I really feel that is the big role of the Infrastructure Finance Authority, is to help communities like the Dalles get these projects done. They're not only critical infrastructure as far as some of the highlights that Dave mentioned, but really just to the ongoing health and well-being of our community. And so I'm really happy that we have been able to play a really integral role in getting this project going. I will say that the City of the Dalles came to the Infrastructure Finance Authority one time, and we agreed to give them some money the first time, and then Dave called me up and said, just so you know, we're going to have to come back and ask for some additional money because, again, the cost of construction really went up. So congratulations. Thank you for including us in this momentous day, and I'm really looking forward to having this project done.
Thanks, Andrea.
Yeah.
We had invited some folks, and since I don't know everybody who's here, I'm just going to kind of go down my list and see if there's anyone here from a couple of different entities. Oregon Water Resources Department, do we have anyone here from them? We had also 44 Trails. I want to just go ahead and touch on that a little bit. This project's occurring in fairly close proximity to the Surveyor's Ridge Trail, which is a very heavily used mountain biking trail on the forest. And so we've tried to do outreach to these user groups, in particular the mountain biking community, to let them know what's going on, try to minimize conflicts that might occur. The Forest Service has been very helpful with that. In fact, a few years ago, they even came in ahead of this project, and because of this project, relocated some of the trails so that it would reduce the number of conflicts that would occur when we came in for construction. So we were really appreciative of that effort to help minimize the adverse impacts on other user groups. Brady, you want offer anything from? No? Okay.
I'm the Jacobs Engineering Group. We're designing the project. Pete's our construction manager here full time in the field to support the project, and we just enjoy being a partner. Thank you.
Okay. Want to offer Paul with Y East any opportunities?
No, we're grateful to be a local resource here, and we've worked with the Forest Service on many projects, and to be able to work with local contractors on this project. You and I have been involved in this thing in and out for 6 to 8 years, and to see the first tree come down is monumental. To know the meetings, the underbelly of what it took to get this project off the ground. There was many conversations we had, and we didn't know if it was still going to even happen this year, and it's a big day to make it happen.
Absolutely. I think Eric with Bounds Excavation already told me he didn't want to say anything, but I want to. Have you changed your mind?
I'm grateful to have this project since I was born and raised in this valley, and it's nice and close to home where I live. So grateful to be here.
Yeah, so I think that's worth noting. Eric Bounds Excavation, based out of Parkdale. So we've got involvement of a local contractor, which is great. Annie, anything you want to offer?
No, we're grateful to have the job and looking forward to working up here in God's country, and we got the best bike group in Oregon for you, so we're looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to that too. Okay, I think we have. Did I miss anybody? Nate, you want to say anything from Regional Solutions? You've been a real big supporter of this project over the years.
Congratulations. Sorry for bugging you.
Yeah, every couple of months I get an email or a phone call from Nate. Hey, when you guys gonna get moving on this? When you guys gonna get this going? So, okay. Well, I think we have some.
Dave, I just wanted to make sure everyone introduce 3 members of the city council.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Looks like Darcy Long and Dan Richardson and Scott Randall. And if you'll notice coming in, there's a sign there that the city council in 1957 authorized this road. So.
Okay, I think we have a little bit of a ceremony planned.
Yeah.
We'll do this, people.
Put on it.
All right. Give it a good scoopful, I guess. Break that ground. Go for it. I'm just going to shoot it.